I am so very excited to finally get to this one. I have seen people playing with this one, and my mind just started reeling when I actually got it in my hands. So I only bought one. So I only have one 10-sided sheet because, you know, these are pretty pricey for 10. I mean, double-sided, but I only purchased one of them. So I figured, you know, if I've got a problem with the money, everybody else probably does too, because I usually, you know, oh, but it's for crafting, so I can pay a little extra. We might have hamburger instead of steak, but by golly, you know what I'm saying? Only kidding. Kinda. Okay, so, you know, Stamperia does beautiful stuff. They're always a little on the weird side, and these, of course, are massive photos. Massive. So, keeping that in mind, that kind of gives me, you know, a size that I'm going to do. I am going to use this one on my front cover. And I think I have a really absolutely awesome thing that I am going to do is basically recreate this whole piece of him with materials and metal and, you know, yeah, I wanted to recreate this whole thing, and probably the only thing that will still be his is the face. So, but, you know, we're going to do that later, but that is my plan on that. And this is going to be another one of those, Lisa's doing some weird stuff. It's not going to really be a mixed media kind of thing. This one just screams material. And after watching Terry, you know, when I did the collaboration with her with Yellow and Blues, working with file folders, I said, that's what I need for this one is some file folders. And I have this newsprint paper, and it is old. This was my mother's, and but the pages, I believe, are going to be folded in half, are going to work really well. You know, that size. This is going to be a mini album. Well, a huge mini album. But I'm thinking I want to do some different with the binding system with this. My base page is going to be file folders. So it ought to be interesting. So I hope you guys come along for the ride. Let me show you what else. I did pick out a few sheets that I had. This one, I love the brick, and these, I've got two of them, and this brown works very well with this collection. I have this green. This is a 75-cent. This one was Kaiser Craft base coat 4 collection. I don't know. No date on them. It's called Bluestone. This one is Kaiser Craft from the 75-cent collection, and this is the 6-pence sheet. But both of these sides work really well. I think the rest of them are from the 75-cent collection. This was my absolutely favorite collection when it came out, and I think every time I ever came across anything that was from that collection, I absolutely loved it and purchased it. So I thought, you know, this might work. I am really going for a man theme, if you haven't figured that out yet. I know this has got flowers, but in small bursts, it's not going to be flowery, and of course this side not at all. These are some tags that I can use, but this is also very manly, very, very beautiful paper. So anyway, those are some of the papers. So let's see, I have 1, 2, they're the same, but there's 2 of them. 3, 4, 5. So I've got 5 12 by 12 that I have chosen out for this. I'm going to go ahead and put this away. And I'm going to put this off to the side. It's pretty big. These are 14 by 17 sheets, the newsprint. You can get these at Michael's or Joann's, or just use the craft paper. This is a little different color than the craft papers that I have. And it's not very thick at all, but since I'm using the file folders, I figured, I don't need a lot of thick paper. So if I use a file folder and then put a 65, even just a 65-pound weight on it, it's going to, start thickening up pretty well. Now, this is some specialty handmade paper that I had. I tore off a hunk of it and used it in something. I think that I am going to somehow use this. I love it. I think it'll look great with all the rest of this stuff. Okay, let me just put this over the newspaper thing so it's not on the floor. Now I have a bunch of these. If you remember these, where you fold them, you put your holes in the paper that correspond with this distance, and put them down, and then you can either put them this way or fold them in on themselves, and they will hold your papers in. So I did grab a couple of these out. And I'm also thinking that if I end up having enough of most everything that I use, that I might just make a kit. I know I won't have enough papers. You'll have to buy your own Stamperia, but with the materials and things like that I use, I should be able to make a kit, but we'll see. Okay, and then I did pull out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I did pull out 6, and these are the 8.5 by 14, the legal size. I also have, this is the 75-cent 6.5-inch pad. So I have all of these papers. So if I, only use one of something, I would have mostly. I would have a second page if I don't use it that I could put in the kit as well. So there's that, and then this is the Bo Bunny Weekend Market Collection, which again was another one of my all-time favorites. So there's just a lot of the some good colors in this batch as well, and mostly again all men-oriented papers. I have the Eclectic Elements from Tim Holtz. So we've got, I have not opened it or used it yet, but it looks like it might have a few pieces in there that I would be interested in. And then I just have pulled out some things that I thought, and I don't have much of some of these. So that would be, a problem making the kit. So it would not be exactly the same with some of the stuff. Now this is suitcases on material, and the batik. I believe I'm saying that right. I don't have my mother call and ask her, Mom, is that batik? I think that's what it is. This is got a little bit of a stretch to it, which for what I'm going to use it for, it doesn't long ways, but it does sideways. But we will be able to play with this, and there will definitely be enough. But I just love this. It just screams man to me. It's a faux suede, faux leather. I don't know, but it's faux something. I picked this up not too long ago at Hobby Lobby. Yeah, Hobby Lobby. And it's got some grays. It's got the browns. It does have flowers, but you know, there's also sections that don't. So this to me was going to work out nicely. I had a little hunk of that. I don't know. I just pulled it out. I have this with the earth and globe on it. So we'll see if that works out. This is a little piece of black with gold writing on it, which is nice. Piece of gray with some pens. And then I got a long time ago several of these books like this. And so I pulled out some, you know, tweedy looking things, and this is a little bit of a purple. I love this. Very textured. I don't know if you can see that, but it's very textured. It's almost like a honeycomb kind of thing. And then a little bit of gold. And then these are just some that really have the colors in them. They're a polycotton. Thermal suede is what they're called. They're very, very soft. But I thought the colors would work quite well. Don't know. I mean, obviously I'm not going to be using all of this, but I pulled out what I thought might work. I do have some of these brads that are, you know, north, south, east compasses. Thank you. I have this little antique brass, and it's just a globe. It's a charm. You know, this isn't all that I'm going to use. I have a couple of those charms, the globe charms. I have a compass. This piece is, I just thought it would look good on his ascot. And it's, you know, just a piece of, I think this is a tie clip. I don't know. It's got little claw feet on the back of it. I think you can see the claws, and it closes like that. So it might be a tie clip. Not sure. I have this watch. It's actually a faux watch. I think these are Tim Holtz, but this is a compass face. I don't know. One day when I was garage sailing and stuff, I came across a bunch of different little doodads and whatnots, and these are replacement glass crystals for watches. So if you have watch faces with the glass in them, you can use those. But how cool for the glasses on him. So these are actually two different sizes. So I am going to try and find a matching one. Or I actually have monocles, and I believe these were Tim Holtz or Spare Parts. I'm not positive, but I think they were Tim Holtz monocles. So I have those as well. And I have this. Now, it doesn't actually open. It's just a faux watch with a wonderful, wonderful chain on it. So, yeah, lots of fun stuff. Lots of fun stuff, guys. So, let me clear off and I'll get started. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is I want to measure what this man is. And so from just a little bit above the top of his hat to just a little bit past the bottom, it is 10 3/4. So we definitely are looking at maybe going 11 1/4, and that would give me approximately a 1/2 inch on the top of his head and on the bottom. So what did I say, 11 1/4? Yeah, so let's piece of paper. Oh, I might need that. Okay, scratch piece of paper. So we said 11 1/4. I should have done it the other way around, but that's all right. We'll know what we're talking about. And then the widest part is his shoulders, and that is 7. And I do want to be able to have a nice spine with, you know, maybe some bookbinder's linen coming around or something like that. So, maybe if we did, that would bring it all the way over here. And that would give me 1 3/8 from his shoulder. So I could bring the bookbinder linen over 1 inch. Yeah. So let's do 9. So huge book. Huge book. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be different. And that's how I figure out, you know, sometimes you can just pick what size you want to make and go with it. And then other times you have to look at an element that you know you're going to want to use. So now let's take one of these. Okay. So this is going to be the covers. Okay, so it'll be 9 by 11 by 14. So 9 this way and 11 by 14 this way. So I think the pages themselves can be 8 3/4 by, so that's just taking 1/4 off of that, by 11. Now, if you're working with 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper, then I would go ahead and make it 8.5 by 11. And then you can use tabs to come out. In fact, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do that, so then you will have a whole set of options, because you're not going to have to go past an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. So we will just go ahead and do that. So it will be 8.5 this way and 11 this way on our pages. And we're not making tubes. We are just making pages. And I believe I can cut this. See, this one is not going to be quite 8.5 here. But that's okay. We can get... We will probably be able to use these, but this is the page that I'm going to want. Well, let's see. If I make this 8.5, I can make this 8.5. I'll just fold it on the last fold line. Does that give me 8.5? I would need that right here. Well, that's stinking close enough, but yeah, okay. So I am going to measure over right down here, not including the tab. I'm going to measure over 8.5 inches and make a mark. And I can bring it all the way down so I can make a mark where I'm going to cut. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut my mark all the way up. Yeah, kind of. Well, I guess what I need to do first is cut it at 11 so that I can actually get it into my cutter. And this one's kind of I think that's the one I had everything sitting in. So I'm going to start off with a not bent up. So we're just going to measure over from here over 11 inches. Sorry, from here over 11 inches and cut. And I am going to do that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to do that with, let's see, how many pages are we going to make? We only have 10 double-sided sheets. So if we do, I'm going to start out making 4. So I'm using 2 of my folders. No. I'm going to make 4. So I am going to go ahead because I'm going to do it a little differently. It just popped into my brain. But the first thing I am going to do is measure over 11 and cut on all of them. So I'll be back in just a second. Hey, and guys, make sure when you're cutting to leave the tabs on. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with them yet, but let's leave the tabs on. So you're going to cut off the side that doesn't have the tabs, and just make sure that you keep them. All right, be back in a sec. Oh, sorry, jiggled. Okay, so also, see, I have one here, and then I can flip this one around for all intents and purposes. So I have a top and a bottom, and then I have the center, and I want this to be in the center. So if we take our 2 sheets, this is the easiest way. There's no measuring. Let me get the other one out from underneath it. We take our 2 sheets and we place them down until we get that center one where we think we're going to like it. Then just make 2 marks here and here, and cut here and here. See, I put these down and I found where I wanted that, and then I made 2 marks, and I'm going to cut these 2 sides off. I'm sorry, these are so large that it is hard to get it all into frame. So I will have to keep reminding myself. And as well with these, keep them. Alrighty. Okay. So I will have an upper. And I'll do the same thing with this one. A middle, a lower. And then I'll have another middle again. It doesn't really matter. All right, or I can have a middle here, upper, lower, and then another middle. That's probably what I'll do. Okay, so let me line this middle up with this one so that they're going to line up perfectly. Let's go ahead and take the other ones out of the way. Make your marks. And cut those 2 edges off. Off, 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 off. Oh, guys, I have to tell you, the other day, I got the sweetest thing. Now, I don't know if you guys knew. I mean, I must have said it a million times. If anybody can find where I can get some milled lavender re-inker. Because this sucker was dry as bone. Well, thank you, Gail. She just sent me a surprise for my re-inker. She sent me a re-inker. And honey, you didn't have to do that, but thank you so much. That was very, very sweet of you. And I greatly appreciate it because I couldn't find that anywhere. And apparently she found it in several places. I'm like, darn, I thought I had a pretty good a pretty good feel for, you know, the stores to go to and stuff. But apparently, so thank you, Gail, so much. Wonderful. I'm super excited. Excuse me. Goodness. Okay. So now we have our file folders. That's not going to be that big. That's like a folder that you used to use in school, right? Okay, so now from this point over, I want to measure 9 inches. Not from the tab, from the lower part of it. I want it to be 9 inches. Okay. So that is right at the score line that they have. So that's pretty easy. But let me think for a second here now. Do I want to do... If I do that... Oh, that might work. So I could do these two and just leave them just like this. And decorate them just like this. All in one piece. Oh, love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. Now the only thing is... Okay. How am I going to cover all this up? Okay. So, we've got this newsprint paper. And like I said, it is old, but I think it's still got its integrity. Yeah, that did pretty well. This does even better. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And I can make booklets out of this and everything else. So there were 50 sheets and it was $3.30 at Southern Paint and Supply Company. I don't have a clue. I don't know when she bought this. Yeah, and then there's no date. There's no date on it, but there you go. Okay, so it's definitely long enough this way. Yeah. Yeah. I can do. Oh, and it will definitely, once you cut it and keep it out of the, I believe it'll be perfect cutting it right in half. But the first one I kind of tore the top, so I'm probably going to have to pull another one out. So I'm going to go ahead and pull another one out, and well, I'm actually going to pull another one out to finish the 4 here. And then, I don't know what the heck happened to my trash can. I keep trying to throw something away and I end up throwing it on the floor because there's no trash can here. I can't keep doing that. That'll make a mess for me. Okay, so I'm going to get one more to make the 4 to go on the inside. And then I'm going to get 4 more. And this one, because I really lost not too much of the page. Not too much, but a little bit. So I am going to get another one. So I'll be back in a minute once I get them cut in half. Okay, so I did one so that you can see what we're going to do. So even though this is thin paper, I went ahead and let me show you on this one. This piece, we just took our paper and glued straight across. So, you know, so that we're going to use this as a whole sheet, not with any kind of indexed piece in it. Okay. So that's what we did with this one, and we're going to do the same with all of the other ones. The side without the tab is going to get glued straight across. And then once we put designer papers on both sides of this, I believe this will be strong enough. If it would make you feel better, you can take one of the pieces that got cut off. Yep, one of these, and you can just cut yourself a little piece to go in there. But I have a feeling once the paper is on, that this will be, I mean, how often do you really grab it right here? It's always right here usually, or up here. But I think this is, I mean, it already feels pretty good. And this is thin paper. So I think we'll be fine. Then on this side, I glued up to, I guess I left about 2.5 inches on this side and on this side. Well, a little bit more on this side, but so I glued it down so it is partially down. But I left this on both sides open because I'm going to decorate the tabs, and I want to be able to put the material or whatever it is that I use to decorate the pieces of paper or whatever underneath and close it up. So then you'll only see the tab and not all the raw edges and stuff. So that's what we're going to do. So let me go ahead and do one with you. So this is 14 by 17 paper. I cut it down. All of them I cut down to the height I wanted for this size. Then I folded them in half and cut them. I folded them in half and cut them down to size. And then I unfolded them and used the center line, the center fold line, as my cut line. And then I just cut them in half. So it's 17, so it's 8.5, okay? I should have known that. My math skills. Okay, so the first one, and I always kind of just dry fit it, before you stick that glue on. See where it is that it's actually going to want to go to look nice. And is it, because file folders are not always cut straight, so is it going to work on there a better way? Yes. Having it this way specifically works back here as well as over here. So now I'm just going to pick this up and I'm going to get the 3 sides. Stay in camera here. I'm getting the 3 sides. And I'm trying not to get too much glue where that opening is going to be, so that I don't have to worry about a bunch of glue getting onto things I don't want it to get onto. So I'm going to first start in the bottom right hand corner and get my paper where I know I want it. And then bring it straight across. And that is superb. Okay. And then I'm going to take another sheet and do the same thing. Except this time, I'm going to do all 4 sides. I'm not staying very straight. I'm going to get a GUI, driving under the influence. Gluing, that's it. Gluing under the influence, a GUI. I'm not under any influence other than, it's always fun starting a new project. And boy, it was sure fun getting done, because I was working on 2 of them there for a while, and plus all the other stuff I got going on. So, yeah. It is nice. Now, this time, yes, we're going to want to set it up in our corner properly, and I didn't dry fit it before, so, but we want it to line up perfectly with our paper. So you've got several things to look at this time. And, but you want it to line up edge to edge with this piece. Okay, and get that glue. Now this Barely Art Precision Craft Glue, it is not bubbling this paper, but I can definitely tell that where I don't have glue, it's not sucked down. Duh, you know. I mean, that goes without saying, but... Okay, now on these, I am going to dry fit and make sure that I'm looking at a nice fit all the way around. And I am. So now I'm just going to kind of go 2/3. Woo! GUI, GUI, GUI. Sorry, guys. I'm crazy. Okay. So here we go. Just about like that. But we're going to start it up here so that we know that it's going to look nice up in this area, and that we're working it where we want it to be. Okay. There we go. Okay. So that's open, so I can mess around with this all I want. And you know I like to get what I want. If you don't believe me, just ask my husband. And my children. All right. Well, I didn't get too much of what I wanted from them. I don't know if you guys had the same problem. But my stepdaughter now, she was the easiest child. Other than she was very shy, and I don't really have a shy bone in my body, so I didn't have a hard time with her at all, because she just was a good girl. And of course now she's got my grandbaby, so she's a very good girl. He is going to be 5 years old next month, and I cannot believe that. 5 years old. Holy Toledo. So yeah. And then in July, they're going to be here for a visit. Yay! Can't wait. But my husband went down to Florida for a couple of days for a little mini vacay. I told him he just wanted to get away from me. It's been a little crazy around here lately. Okay. Oh, that does not look good. Let's see. Pick it up on this side. Crooked. Crooked. Good thing you can just pick them up. Take them off. Try them out. There we go. That's a little better. Now it's not hanging over the edge. It was literally hanging over the edge. That won't do. And of course, so now, oops, don't pull it. So now we have both of these open on the tab side. And that's it. So that is 2 of them. We need it done to all 4 of them. So this one's going to be a little different. The ones on you know, the top and the bottom, because there's not going to be a corner here to do anything with. So, let me think on that. See, it won't be a problem this one, because we will just go to this corner straight across. Of course, we're still going to only glue down here and leave this open. But this one, wowzer, wowzer. You know what? On these two, I'm going to make it simple, and I am going to cut these two. So these two will be longer in length than these two, but that's okay. But I think that's going to be a lot easier than trying to make a faux corner, have everything line up, and all of that. So I think I am just going to, because it's got this little swaggle down here. Yours might not. If yours don't, just cut where it's going to work. I'm going to go down to the end of this little swaggle thing and cut. So I'm going to do that with both of these, guys, because you know, this is all about, let's make it simple and fun, not hard. Don't want hard crafting. We want fun crafting. And this will totally work for a nice page. Anyway, so it's, you know, it's not that much smaller. Let's see. We are at 7 3/4. So it's still a nice size page. You know, not all of the things in there are huge, so you really don't have to worry about it too much. Okay, and then I'm just going to do this one the same. And we can keep these two because we may need them for something. Okay, so now with, now with these, we'll have to cut down our papers a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and get these guys done. And remember, on the tab sides, don't glue all the way up to the top. Only glue up, you know, 2/3, 3/3, something like that. 3/4, 3/3. Yeah, that would be all of it. On both sides, so that we can play with that all we want. And this one you'll have to cut down more, but let's go ahead and cover it up on both. And I'll be back in a second.